This is the new fully electric Porsche Macan, and in this video we're telling you everything you need to know about it. How far can it travel on a full charge? How big's the battery? How much will it cost? Keep watching to find out. But first, subscribe to our channel for lots more new car reveals and reviews, and go to whatcar.com for a great deal on your next car. So, the new Macan is Porsche's second fully electric model, following the Porsche Taycan, which was released a few years ago. And hopes should be high for the new Macan, because before the Taycan we'd never really had an electric car that was genuinely good to drive. Lots of them were very fast, but none really involved the driver in a way that the best petrol-powered performance cars could. Some even questioned whether an EV could ever really satisfy proper driving enthusiasts. The Taycan changed all that, because not only was it truly rapid in a straight line, but it was also stunningly capable and fun in the corners. The Taycan is still around today, of course, and for the last couple of years it's been available in an estate-bodied Cross Turismo version, which only increases its appeal by adding some extra versatility into the exhilarating Taycan recipe. Quite simply, the Taycan sets the benchmark for handling and driver enjoyment in the world of battery-powered motoring. And if you want to find out more about what makes it so good, watch our full review of the car. So, is Porsche able to work its EV magic once more? Will it set a new benchmark for electric SUVs? On the face of it, things don't look all that different. The Macan has been on sale for 10 years and is Porsche's second best-selling model globally, behind only the Cayenne. So for the design of the new electric model, the German manufacturer hasn't strayed too far from what's come before, giving it a familiar Porsche look. The name hasn't even changed. During its development, this new model was referred to as the e-Macan, but for the production model, the E has been dropped, so it's just Macan. Compared to the fuel-powered version, which was given a facelift last year and some performance tweaks more recently, the visual changes for the electric version aren't particularly drastic, but move closer visually to the styling of the Taycan. It has a slightly more angular face, and the front daytime light bars have been replaced by two sets of twin circular lights. At the rear, it's also a bit sharper in its styling with a more heavily raked roofline than the previous Macan, and it features a light bar as well as an active rear spoiler. You'll find some new frameless doors on this electric version too. The alloys, by the way, will range in size from 19 inches up to 22 inches. The dimensions are also very similar. Well, most of them anyway. The electric Macan is 103mm longer, 15mm wider, and 2mm lower than the fuel-powered version, so it will broadly take up the same amount of room on the road. Boot space is up though, with 540 litres of space with the rear seats in place, and up to 1,348 litres if you fold them down. And there's an extra 84 litres available in the front boot, which should be a handy spot to keep your charging cables. There will hopefully be a bit more room inside than before as well. The wheelbase of the electric Macan, which is the distance between the front and rear wheels, is 2,893mm, and that is 86mm longer than the fuel-powered version. That should promise a bit more rear legroom for passengers sitting back there. Which is good news, because the Macan has never been the most generous SUV around when it comes to rear seat space. Porsche also says that the rear seats are up to 15mm lower than before, while the driver and front passenger can be sat up to 28mm lower. Up front, the interior of the Macan clearly takes inspiration from the new Cayenne and Panamera. That means it gets the same three-screen setup, which consists of a 12.6-inch digital instrument cluster, a 10.9-inch central infotainment touchscreen, and, optionally, a separate 10.9-inch touchscreen for the front passenger. That passenger screen can display journey information or stream videos, but it's tinted so that it can't be seen from the driver's side. There's also an optional head-up display, which uses augmented reality technology to place some information, like the directions from the sat-nav, directly into your line of sight. And while there is a host of new technology, it's great that there are still physical toggles to adjust the climate controls. Initially, there will be two versions of the electric Macan which you can buy, the Macan 4 and the range-topping Macan Turbo. Both have a 100 kWh battery with a 95 kWh usable capacity. The Macan 4 is said to have a claimed WLTP range of 613 kilometers or 381 miles, while the more powerful Macan Turbo is down slightly at 591 kilometers, around 367 miles. Charging up should be quick thanks to its 800-volt architecture, accepting a maximum charging rate of 270 kilowatts. That means at its fastest rate, the battery can be charged from 10 to 80% in just 21 minutes. However, finding charging stations capable of delivering that speed isn't particularly easy. Both the Macan 4 and the Macan Turbo have all-wheel drive with 2 electric motors, and both are capable of brutally quick acceleration. The Macan 4 delivers 402 brake horsepower and 479 pounds-foot of torque to give a 0 to 62 miles an hour time of 5.2 seconds and a 137 mile an hour top speed. The Macan Turbo jumps up to 630 brake horsepower and 833 pounds-foot of torque for short periods of overboost, which is 196 brake horsepower and a huge 428 pounds-foot more than the most powerful petrol Macan. That gives it a 0 to 62 miles an hour time of just 3.3 seconds and a 162 mile an hour top speed. That is quicker than the Tesla Model Y Performance. For the first time, rear axle steering will be available on the Macan. It operates with a maximum steering angle of 5 degrees and gives it a turning circle of 11.1 meters, which is a meter tighter than the current car, so it should be a doddle to maneuver this around town. The Macan 4 rides on steel suspension with new twin-valve dampers, while the Macan Turbo receives a more sophisticated air suspension setup. Porsche also claims the new electronically controlled Porsche traction management system of the new Macan operates up to 5 times faster than the four-wheel drive system of the existing Macan, reacting to a loss of traction at one wheel and sending power to another within 10 milliseconds. The maximum towing capacity, by the way, is up to 2,000 kilograms. The new Macan has been developed alongside the Audi Q6 e-tron, which shares its premium platform electric (PPE) architecture, as well as key parts of its chassis, batteries and power electronics. The electric Cayenne, which is now testing ahead of a 2026 launch, will also use the same platform. So as such, the Macan will count the Q6 e-tron as a close rival, but it will also be up against other electric SUVs like the Jaguar I-Pace and Polestar 4. The new Macan won't be cheap. In the UK, the Macan 4 will start from £69,800, with the Macan Turbo costing £95,000. More versions will follow in the future. There's set to be a whole lineup of electric Macans, including cheaper, single-motor, rear-wheel drive versions, similar to what's on offer in the Taycan lineup. The new Macan will be sold alongside the fuel-powered one until the end of 2025, when the lineup will become exclusively electric. Porsche aims for electric vehicles to account for 50% of its global sales by then, and 80% by 2030. Over the next few years, we should see the 718 Boxster EV, the electric Cayenne, and the Panamera EV. Later this decade, a new electric SUV, known to be a 7-seater codenamed the K1, will arrive. It's thought this model will be Porsche's most expensive car and represent a complete styling revolution for the brand. But all of that seems a long way off, and what we'll see first is this electric Macan on the road. And that is everything we know about it so far. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe to our channel if you want to make sure you see our full review of the car as soon as we've driven it, and go to whatcar.com for a great deal on your next car.